Hello and welcome back to Collecting Iron Maiden with me, your host James. Today we're going to take a look at the 1981 album Killers on vinyl and on CD. And it's going to be an interesting one because we're going to look at a unique version of the album out of Australia and a second unique version out of the album out of Argentina. Okay, Killers, let's take a look. We've got the two versions here. First up, we have the Australian version. Iconic cover, as always with Maiden, but particularly on these early albums. I know a lot of people who first tried the band out when they saw this particular album cover staring at them from the vinyl bin. Nothing unusual about the cover here. If we flip it over is where we see the special things about the Australian version. First of all, EMI Records Australia. Down here on the badge, this one is not the New Zealand version, this is the Australian version. We had different versions. And it's the track list where things get a bit different, because in this version of Killers, Mr. Dennis Stratton is on the album, which is pretty unusual because he wasn't in the band when this came out. If we look through the track list, we'll see why. Nothing unusual until we get Innocent Exile Killers, and then all of a sudden, smack bang in the middle of side 2, Woman in Uniform. Woman in Uniform, I'm sure most of you know, but there was a single. It was a cover version from an Australian band called Skyhawks, who did the original. Because this is the Australian vinyl and they were an Australian band, the powers that be decided to whap this on the Maiden Killers album to give it a bit of an extra boost in the charts. And there it is, Dennis Stratton appearing on Killers in Australia. Very interesting. Next up, we have something even more interesting. It's the Argentinian version of the album. I just got this recently. As you can see, it's an okay cover. There's a bit of ring wear there, but it's not falling apart or anything. A couple of things to notice straight away. The first is the title. Here we have Killers, and here we have, forgive my Spanish, but Assassinos, which I'm presuming is the Spanish for Killers. But then even more interesting in my view is we've got this sticker, kind of a dorky, if I can use that word, sticker of heavy metal. Maybe Man of War fans would like it, except it's not actually a sticker. I can rub my finger over that. It's part of the print. This is actually part of the cover in Argentina. Quite bizarre, but quite cool. And on the reverse of the album, we can see straight away a couple of big differences. If I just flip the Aussie version over again, one's colour and one's black and white. Why'd they do that? No idea. Second difference is that we do not have Woman in Uniform or Twilight Zone, which is on the US version. We don't have either of those here on this particular version of the album. Also, everything's in Spanish. If you ever wanted to know what Rothschild was in Spanish, Chico Calerico, again, apologies for my awful Spanish, there are the titles in Spanish. Exciting. Genghis Khan is Spanish for Genghis Khan. Who knew? We also have such nuggets as Dave Murray playing guitar and Paul Di'Anno on Voz, which is very exciting for people like me. And down on the bottom here, just confirmation that it has been made in Argentina. Oh, that was the other interesting thing on the front. On the Maiden font, we've got the EMI stamp up the top, which you don't see very often on Maiden albums. So there you go, two very different but very cool versions of Killers on vinyl. And whoops, I nearly forgot the CD. Oh, let's be honest, I did forget the CD. And that's probably because it's quite a forgettable piece. Quite dark colours on the cover. On the back, it's very dark. Now, this is the original from the UK. God knows when they first started making CDs, but from then, if we open it up, you can see a very boring CD there. But if you think that's boring, wait till you see the booklet itself. When this came out, it was hugely disappointing in terms of not having lyrics or anything like that, whereas other CDs that came out at the time did. We get this plain black background, and then when you open it up, you just get a recreation of the backside of the vinyl. Pretty dull, but there you go. Killers CD. So there we go, Killers. Fantastic album, and personally I'm absolutely delighted that there's so many tracks from it on the Run for Your Lives World Tour. Let me know in the comments which versions of Killers you have in your collection. Let me know what you think of the album being so heavily featured in the current tour list too. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Up the irons.